never make it this far. They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like.
Welcome back to Stuck in My Thoughts. Is a place you want to be to hear one-of-a-kind POV. As always, I'm your host, Justin Stuckey, and today we're going to be talking about college football week 2. We got a packed schedule today. Going to be talking about Colorado and their third-string quarterback dream, HBCU coaches picking up their first dub, and we have a special guest, Clifford Taylor, joining the show to talk a little bit about the Florida Gators and their demise this weekend. First things first, we're going to be going to the HBCU side of things. Michael Vick, DeSean Jackson. DeSean Jackson coaching Delaware State, and Michael Vick coaching Norfolk State. Norfolk State picked up the dub against Virginia State, 34-31 this past weekend, and DeSean Jackson and his team at Delaware State picked up the win, 37-32 versus Albany. And number one, it's great to see them having success on the other side of the lines. We've known in their careers that they've had great careers as players, quarterback in Mike Vick, wide receiver in DeSean Jackson. But getting to see them get some shine and coaching these young men and leading them in their journey where they have been, stepping into the shoes of the coaches and having that impact for them, I think it's cool to see. It takes time. Like I said, everybody expected them to go out immediately and get that first dub, but it took a minute. Got it in week 2, and you can only move forward. And it's cool to see these star athletes who were NFL players and did their thing on the field transition over to the coaching side. We've seen coaches like Coach Prime, Eddie George take the helm as stars in their game and go over to that coaching side in the HBCU sector specifically. So it's cool to see these coaches leading these young men, being able to have some success there. And these two former teammates, now coaches, are going to play against each other October 30th in Lincoln Financial Field, where they had some great games. As an Eagles fan myself, those were the glory days. We're living in the glory days now, but those were some great moments. So for them to be able to go back to where they had great success, coaching their teams, get to duke it out, it's going to be exciting to see. Don't know if I'll be there. Hopefully, maybe, we'll see. October 30th should be fun. But congrats to Coach Vick, congrats to Coach Jack, picking up the first win, first of many. Wishing them much success as they continue to go forward in their careers. Next up, we got to talk about Auburn. And not because I went to Auburn, but because I was there this past weekend. Saw the game in person. They had a cupcake weekend versus Ball State. And like I said in my previous episode, need to be a 50-piece. We didn't quite get the 50-piece, but we were close. 42-3. Good dub. Saw a lot of good things. Damari Alston didn't play, but we got the passing game going a little bit. With so many targets, I think it almost hurts Jackson Arnold a little bit because you got so many people you can throw it to. You might start overthinking a little bit. We got to see Deuce Knight towards the end of the game. Reps were here and there. A few missed throws, but good to see him get out there, get some reps. Feel what it's like in the atmosphere. And the atmosphere was outstanding in Jordan-Hare Stadium. The fourth quarter light show, 10 out of 10. And honestly, that was one of the two most exciting things. But the most exciting thing to me, Sylvester Smith. That brother is a head buster. That brother needs an NIL deal with the firework company because he was popping stuff all night. Yellow Wood logo was on the field, and he was laying the wood on his opponents. If you watch any of that game or highlights, number 19, MVP of the game, flying around the field, no regard for his own body, running through the offense. Whoever had the ball, he was running them slap over. So Sylvester Smith, I wasn't familiar with the game before this weekend, but now you're definitely on the radar. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keeping things in the SEC, there was a big upset. USF took down Florida in Gainesville, 18-16 on a last-second field goal to take it away. First off, we're going to give big props to USF. USF, South Florida, the Bulls, they didn't come to mess around. They've come to play. They've gotten 2 upsets in back-to-back weeks, and they're showing everybody they're here, they're serious, they ain't playing no games, and they're here to stay. They cracked the top 25 this weekend, so it's cool to see the work that they put in, the underrated team being able to come out on top. For Florida, disappointing weekend. Ranked 13th, Billy Napier was already on the hot seat last year. They finished strong, had DJ Lagway coming in, a lot of high anticipation. People were excited to see what they can do. Know they have another gauntlet of a schedule. And with games like this, when you have so many other games that you know are going to be hard to win or even be close in, you have to win these. I'm not going to call this a gimme game because we're not going to disrespect South Florida, but you've got to win this. You're at home, in front of your crowd. You're the state. You got to rep the state. But there is somebody who knows this team better than I do. Somebody who's played for the team, knows the university, knows the fan base, knows the culture, and that's Clifford Taylor. So we're going to bring him in and hear his thoughts. All right. We're joined with a special guest, Mr. Florida, as I like to call him, the one and only Clifford Taylor. My boy, appreciate you taking the time to hop on. Going to be talking about your Gators.
Yep, we in hell.
we saw your video. We know this weekend was a rough one for you, but appreciate you taking the time to give more of your insight. You were at the game. You got to witness it firsthand. As we know, USF pulled off the upset against Florida inside Gainesville, 18-16, last second field goal to cap it off. Just to kick this thing off, do you think it's more about South Florida exceeding their expectations this season or Florida not meeting their own?
First of all, shout out to USF. Shout out to the coach. I saw a video of them in the locker room after the game. That gave me chills. Yeah. I'm not even a Bull. So I was like, even like in my video, I was like, you know what, 3 claps for the Bulls. But I would say, this might sound crazy to say, but I would say for Florida because, and I'm honestly kind of glad it happened. And the reason I say that, because I thought about it more and more. All offseason, all we talked about was Florida and the college football playoff. Mm-hmm. That's what everybody was talking about. We ended the season last year on such a high. It we became, I hate to call Gator Nation delusional, but delusional in a sense, because it's like you look at our gauntlet of a schedule this year, it's if not harder than last year. Matter of fact, I think it is harder than last year now with Florida State being good, surprisingly. But yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know, those first couple of drives, like even watching USF just kind of drive down the field, it didn't necessarily convert to points, but I was just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this game.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel. And man, and you know, my boy Michael P. Ryan, he said it best, man. That this whole, I swear, man, if I see one more jet sweep, bro, like I get it, like Trey can do it, but it's like a jet sweep every drive. This whole, see, I'm used to the spread. So this whole East-West offense, it ain't really doing it for me, man. So I would say it's one of those things where it's like, I guess it kind of brought us all back to life a little bit. Mm-hmm. Fortunately for Billy, he's kind of back on the hot seat, and everybody's like, fire Billy, fire Billy. I ain't going to go that far just yet, but I will say my patience is thin again. I will say that. You know what I'm saying? For the last 4 years, I've been like, all right, give Billy time. Now that he's got these players, now that he's got these ballers, it's like, all right, you got to do something with it. But I don't know, man. It was one of those things where it's like, it stung, but as soon as I left the stadium, it's like, well, Billy ain't going to sleep tonight. That's all I know. So I would say, Gator fans, buckle up, because I'm telling you, it's going to be, it has the potential to be a long season. That's all I got to say.
You guys definitely have a gauntlet on the horizon. It won't be any cakewalks going forward, but do you think, like you said, Florida finished the last season on a high? You know, I don't know if you've seen the SEC Netflix series that they posted out last year. It was good to see that they could kind of turn their season around and end with some confidence. But going in this season, I know a lot of teams that we've seen in the past that had success going into the end of their season, they lose early. So is this something that could help them remember, hey, you can't start smelling yourself so early, even though you were ranked 13?
Man, I sure hope so. Because, I mean, it's like, And it's like every time I just refresh on my phone, and it's like LSU, Miami, Texas, A&M. It's just like, come on, man. It's just like I'm just hoping for something to shift every time I refresh. But it's just one of those things, man, where it's like I really, really genuinely hope they had a full team meeting, no coaches, no nothing, because those players only meetings, I can speak from firsthand experience, those players only meetings is where the tone shifts. Like I'll never forget 2019. So it was after the Kentucky game. So we barely won. You know, Felipe unfortunately broke his ankle that game. Kyle came in and saved the day, whatever. And one of our captains was John Bernard. And so we had a players only meeting. And like to this day, it gives me chills because first of all, I ain't know John talked like that. So I was like, huh, all right. But I'm telling you, from that point on, it just set the tone. So I'm sure these guys' minds are spiraling, unfortunately out of control, especially for number 90. I forget his name, the player that spit on 56. I think that was his number.
Why is everybody spitting? Why was this the week of spitting?
Man, listen, man. It's all listen. I don't know. I'm not even gonna put it on the coaches because coaches don't teach that.
No.
But I saw a video of my guy Ben Housesaw. He was like spitting. When I told you to play like Jalen Carter, I didn't mean literally. So it's just one of those things, man, where it's just like it just goes back to the discipline, man, the fundamentals, discipline, the character. And the thing is, it's like I could listen to a Billy Napier press conference all day, any day, but at some point, it's like these guys got to take accountability, man. So for me, it's just one of those things where it's very unfortunate, but I just hope we can at least get one or two out of this like 4-game gauntlet that we got. And I can't even say 4 games because Mississippi State just beat Arizona State. So we got
that was a great game. We're talking about that later in the show.
And we got them, and we got Georgia against. So it's just like
prayers up.
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy.
Do you think the Gator fans will be patient enough, or the Gator administration will be patient enough to keep Billy Napier through the season if you don't win those games?
Gator Nation's never patient. They're never patient. Administration, I feel like they kind of have to because they pay Billy a whole lot of money. And they just extended Mr. Strickland to like, 2029, 2030. So they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But Gator Nation, frankly, they've been impatient since Tebow left, really. I mean, yeah, we've had shout out to him. Granted, we've had some good quarterbacks along the way, but we can never get the job done. So it's one of those things where it's like we've become spoiled at the quarterback position, even like 16 years since our last national championship. So like Gator fans, they'll never be content. Even when we're good, we're not content. So yeah, Gator Nation, I just kind of like Saturday night after the loss, I'm like, okay, I'm not even gonna go on Gator Twitter. I ain't even gonna go to Gator Instagram. I'm gonna just leave it alone. But it's just one of those things where it's like you gotta produce, no matter how hard the schedule is. You gotta find a way to produce. You found a way to do it last year a little bit, so now it's like a real all right, Billy, let's see what you're talking about for real. So I mean, we'll see, man. But Gator fans, they've had it up to here with Billy. Out the frame. They've had it up to here with him.
And this weekend starts the gauntlet. Going down to Baton Rouge, you're going to be in attendance. SEC Nation is traveling down to the Bayou. What do the Florida Gators need to do to give themselves a shot in this one?
Man, so fortunately, I watched a little bit of LSU. They don't, let me not jinx it. They haven't, they've looked okay, but we're going to have to play some absolutely clean football because these penalties last weekend, all these self-inflicted wounds, we can't have that. I'll give you a couple false starts because it's Tiger Stadium and it's rowdy up there. Can confirm. It's extremely loud. So I'll give you 2 false starts. I'll give you 2. Maybe 1 delay game.
Yeah.
After that, you got to play clean because in LSU, they don't give you nothing. So DJs, I need DJ to air the ball out a little more, man. All these jet sweeps. Now, Ball can run all day. Hand the ball to him. And I need our receivers, man, to get more open. I mean, there's only so much Vernell can do. I mean, he's a true freshman. There's only so much that he can do. So I need Sturdivant to step up. I need Wilson to keep doing this thing. I don't know how long Dallas Wilson's going to be out. So we'll see how that pans out. If there's anything I learned from last weekend, we definitely need Caleb Banks back.
Yeah.
we definitely, especially if 90 gets suspended. If he gets suspended for this game, it's like we got Sapp, phenomenal. We got Sapp, but it's like what else we got? I mean, granted, we got guns. We got Puff Howard, we got all that, but it's like, yo, we need our guys.
Yeah.
Going down to Baton Rouge, and I just read today that it's their goal game, so I was like, yeah, we need all hands on deck this weekend. No mistake. We play clean football. If we do that, we can get the job done. Roll into Miami, do the same thing, and we'll just keep the ball rolling. So, but me, on the other hand, I'm just gonna be doing a whole bunch of this.
Whole lot of praying,
man.
And hopefully a whole lot of playing well, clean football for those Gators. Clifford, appreciate you taking the time, joining us, second my thoughts for the CFB Week 2 recap. Good luck to you, Gators.
Yes, sir. Go Gators.
Great insight there from Clifford. Appreciate him taking some time to join the show. Them Florida Gators got to go down to the Bayou. So we're going to see how that's going to go. LSU is looking good, looking really strong right now. I like Billy Napier as a coach. Wishing them much success, but there's no doubt about it. They have a gauntlet coming up, and no, it doesn't get any easier. And one of the teams they're going to face, like Clifford mentioned, is Mississippi State. And Mississippi State has had some very subpar years over the past few years. Not much coming out of there except Will Rogers, who eventually went on to Washington. I believe Will Rogers just retired from football, which is unfortunate because the brother was a baller. He had thousands of passing yards during his time, rocking that number 2 for the maroon and white. But Mississippi State has shown they're a new team. This isn't the same Mississippi State of old. They're here to prove a statement in the SEC, which is already a gauntlet. But they went up against Arizona State, who we know was in the college football playoffs last year, had great success. That boy Scatterboo was running all over the place. And they matched up in Starkville, and I call this the Mississippi State miracle. They were able to win on a last second, 30 seconds left, 58-yard touchdown to Brennan Thompson. House call, 30 seconds left in the game. The atmosphere was crazy, cowbells ringing all over the place.
Warming up on the sideline. 2 plays to get 9 yards to keep the game going. Pressure was picked up. Chapin, wide open, caught across the middle. Thompson, touchdown!
And they end up beating Arizona State 24-20. And this is their first ranked non-conference home win since 1991. There's a lot to that, but they were able to knock off a great opponent in Arizona State. Greatly prepared, great coached historically in the past year or so. And Mississippi State didn't blink. They were the more physical team. They were beating them off the line, especially on the defensive line, getting good rush. It's crazy because, speaking of the rush, Arizona State outrushed them significantly in this game, but yet did not pick up the win. And for Mississippi State, was going to be something and somebody they have to lean on going forward. They're going to hang their hat on, and it's going to be up to this guy to lead them to the promised land. It's going to be Blake Shapen. All them slingshots that he was able to throw equal to W. 3 touchdowns on the night, and the most important one coming with 58 seconds left in the game to his hot target in Brennan Thompson to carry momentum on as we continue to head towards this conference play. SEC is a gauntlet, man. Just had the Netflix Any Given Saturday documentary, and Mississippi State was not much to talk about. And I know they're trying to change that narrative down there in Starkville, give those fans something to cheer for, something to believe in. And I think it's safe to say these players believe in themselves. So that was a great game to see, great ending to see. Like I mentioned, I was at the Auburn game, and I saw the score leading up to that, and I saw Mississippi State won, but I didn't see the footage at first. And we're going to play the clip in here, but seeing how they were able to win that thing in the last 30 seconds. That's what college football is all about. You can never sleep on a team, especially, Arizona State coming off the playoffs. Probably honestly didn't respect Mississippi State too much because they haven't really given us anything to respect. But you can't sleep. You always got to bring your best game, no matter who you're playing. And Mississippi State said, you guys are not going to turn an eye to us, not going to disrespect us. We're going to fight to the end. And all they needed was that last 30 seconds to get that W. So it was great to see. So if you tuned in last week, you know that I said it's too soon to count out Arch Manning. And I safe to say, he showed y'all why. Arch Manning went out there, cupcake game, got me 5 touchdowns, smooth sailing win for Texas, get back on track, get some confidence. But here is where the problem lies. If you watch that game, you watch Arch Manning throw, I think Arch Manning's hurt. And that's the question. Is Arch Manning hurt? He's grimacing after all these throws. He's throwing a lot of sidearms. And the reporter asked Coach Steve Sarkisian after the game about his status. Gonna roll the tape.
You're right, Zach.
Arch Manning seemed to be having some throwing pains by the
According to
fourth
who?
quarter.
Arch said that to you?
No.
Oh, according to who?
It just looked like he was.
He doesn't have any.
Is there an explanation to why it looked like that?
I don't know. I've never filmed any of you guys when you're using the bathroom, so I don't know what faces you make when you're doing that.
Okay, so personally, I'm not buying the bluff. Coaches always deflect. And that's their job. They have to protect their players, have to protect their program, but trying to make a comparison to somebody taking a deuce and making a face versus your quarterback grimacing every time he throws the ball and sidearming is 2 different things. It's clear why Arch Manning was not making some of these throws, especially the ones that are within 10 yards. Something is underlying. I hate speculating when it comes to injuries because I wish no player ever got injured. But nobody makes a face like that for no reason. I think as we continue to go through the season, only time will tell. If you have Arch Manning sitting out of a game for back spasms, undisclosed illnesses, or anything of that nature, there's something wrong with his arm. Something wrong with his shoulder. And I hope they can get this corrected. Go ahead and get it fixed, figured out, because you don't want to cause more permanent damage as you continue to progress into the season and into his career in general. But there's no doubt about it. Sark's bluffing. I'm not buying the bluff. Everybody can see it if you got eyes on the field. And so, in the best interest of Texas, you figure it out now. Because if you don't figure it out now, it's going to hurt you later. I don't even know who Texas' backup quarterback is because all the talk's been Arch Manning. But whoever it is, you better start warming up because if Arch Manning's hurt and not in that game, you're going to be leading the team. And sticking with the topic of quarterbacks, we're going to be talking about a quarterback who nobody saw coming. Nobody was hyping up in the preseason. But his name was called, his number was called, and he showed out. Third-string quarterback Ryan Staub takes over for Colorado in their game and win against Delaware. Coach Prime, Colorado, the hype has been around 2 people in the recent years, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders. And if you don't know who Shedeur Sanders is, he is the son of head coach Deion Sanders, and he's now on the Browns. That's a whole nother situation. But we've got new quarterbacks in play. Caden Salter transferred from Liberty, and Julian Lewis, 5-star quarterback coming out of high school, highly touted, highly recruited. They went with Caden Salter for week 1 against Georgia Tech. Didn't work out. They lost at home to Georgia Tech, who's a great team, but they also had like 4 turnovers. Didn't get the dub. Wasn't able to lead his team to victory. After that, Coach Prime said that he was going to make a switch when it came to the quarterback, and he gave Julian Lewis some reps. Also did not work. When you have a highly touted transfer, highly touted recruit, both can't get the job done, you have to look elsewhere. And shout out to Ryan Staub. He was behind Shedeur during his time in Colorado, learning under him. And when Coach Prime and the Colorado staff brought in these 2 new quarterbacks, he weathered the storm. He weathered the storm. He didn't waver. He didn't transfer. He didn't leave. He didn't say, oh, I'm not getting no playing time. Let me go just shop somewhere else. He stuck it out, and when his number was called, he delivered. The brother went 7 for 10, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns to lead his team to victory versus Delaware. And there are a lot of takeaways from this. Number one is staying ready so you ain't got to get ready. Shador got hurt previous years, and Staub had to go in, and he was not ready at the time. That 4-10 season for Colorado, or 4-8 season, where things just were not clicking for them. Injuries were piling up. You had an inexperienced quarterback at the time, and he was not ready for the moment. This time, he learned and was ready. He took over, and they're calling him Martin Luther Staub because he had a dream. He said he envisioned this. He said he dreamed for this moment, and ultimately, he got it done when it mattered most. And so the question for Coach Prime is, what's next? What should he do next for the best interest of the team going forward to have success like they did last year? Because they're going to enter conference play here soon, and you need to have somebody who's ready to lead the team, and it's not going to blink when opposition is there. And so they're going to Houston. Me personally, I think you run with Staub. I think somebody who is used to the culture at Colorado, does not have the entitlement of a 5-star in Julian Lewis or the transfer in Caden Salter. Obviously, maybe one bad game doesn't mean you rule him out, but I think that Staub is ready for the moment. He's got the belief of his team, has the belief of his coach, and most importantly, he's got the belief in himself to get the job done. And so I think you run with Staub the rest of the way until that road runs out. And then you might have more question marks. You can run back to a Caden Salter, a Julian Lewis, who is probably the future of the program, but he might not be ready. This isn't high school anymore. It's college. And as much as I respect the 4 and the 5 stars and what you earn in high school, it's a completely different ball game when you get into college. And so I think you run with Staub, see how far he can take you, and hope Colorado can have some success as they go to take on Houston this weekend. And lastly, we're going to be talking about one of the most hype rivalries that hasn't been a game in over a decade. SEC Nation made their way to Columbia, Missouri, as Kansas took on Missouri for the border war. Personally, I had never heard of the border war before, and I was well educated, so shout out to SEC Network and SEC Nation for showing a great broadcast and telling the history behind it. But nonetheless, it was time to play a game in Missouri, and Kansas, first off, Kansas did a great job. Got out to a hot start, 21-6 in the first quarter, and it's up to Missouri. You got 2 options. You fold early, you fold at home, and you get embarrassed, which Kansas is known to do to teams, or you bounce back and you hop on the shoulders of your quarterback, because my guy, Big Bo Prabula, threw for 334 yards, 3 tutties, and had great performances from his supporting cast. Jamal Roberts, 143 yards, and he was the one who basically sealed the game with his clinching score. And Missouri was able to rally back. I think Coach Drinkwater was able to say this in his post-game presser, but he was more proud of how his players didn't fold in the biggest moments. I think it's telling your team early in the season what your team is made of when they hit adversity. And for Missouri to go down early, be able to not only battle back, but to rally and take the lead and finish it off strong, win by 11 points at home, have a lot of momentum, 2-0 at home. This is the biggest, I'd say the biggest rivalry, the biggest anticipated game this early in the season for them in a minute, and to be able to have all that hype around, keep your blinders on, even when things get bad, things get down early, when you have a great team in Kansas led by Daniels at quarterback, who's been there a while. I've met Daniels before. He's a good guy, and not blink. You go on a 15-0 run in the second quarter, and for Kansas, that was a disastrous quarter. But to continue to rally, continue to put on for your team, your fan base, the home crowd there, and continue to push forward, sets them up for great success as they go. Like I said, big play Bo, 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. That's saying something. But I would say for Missouri as they go forward, you can't come out the gate slow with teams like a Kansas, who is a respectable team. But as you go into SEC play, that 21-6 can get really, really ugly soon. But it does say something about Missouri's resiliency to continue to fight, continue to understand it's a 4-quarter game. Games aren't won in 1 quarter, and they can make the adjustments. Shout out to Coach Drink and his coaching staff to make the necessary adjustments to be able to come out on top in the end. But ultimately, that was a very entertaining and very exciting game, because even while Missouri was down, Kansas is making a run. Missouri comes back, makes their run. They kind of go tit for tat, back and forth, and ultimately Missouri is able to come out on top. But these are the games that you live for. These are the ones that you don't want to miss. Highlights don't do it justice, but it's great to see games like this early in the season, especially the out-of-conference games. Sometimes I call them the cupcake games, but the competitive games like this ultimately drives the interest for college football. We love college football, and we love Stuck in My Thoughts, and we're going to continue to give these thoughts on college football weekly. Next week, we got week 3, or this upcoming weekend, we got week 3. Excited to see what happens there. Hopefully, Florida can give a fighting chance when it comes to LSU. Auburn has another cupcake game. There's so much to look forward to as we continue to push forward into this college football season. I know everybody's going to be like, Stuck, why didn't you talk about Missouri and Oklahoma? There's going to be times to talk about that, but I do want to shout out Coach Brett Venables and his team. Oklahoma, you did your thing. Michigan, they're going to be fine. But we had to get some shine on some other teams, not always the biggest teams, and we're going to keep this thing going, so please make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Clifford for joining the show, talking a little bit about the Florida Gators, and we're going to be back for week 3 soon, and we got some other special guests coming up, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Aside for Stuck in My Thoughts, as you can tell, we're taking this thing full circle all over the place. We got the sit-downs, we got the recaps, we have discussions about any and everything in the sporting and entertainment industry. As always, I'm your host, Justin Stuckey. This is Stuck in My Thoughts. We're going to catch you next time.
Whoa. Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah.